All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely had to bring y'all this before we start. Please put prayers for President Trump down below in the comment section. If a lot of y'all didn't see the video that we posted yesterday, that we found out that the FBI had found a hunting stand, pretty much a sniper nest, with direct line of sight to President Trump's Air Force One in Palm Beach. And not only they say it has been taken to an FBI lab. So this is what I'm talking about. It seems like these people, it's just not gonna stop. They ain't gonna stop at all. So all of a sudden it's a sniper nest, like with direct line of sight to President Trump, where he gets off the plane, walking down the stairs, a straight shot. So somebody put it there. So we did find out that the FBI said that they're gonna find out who did it, see if they can find any like camera footage of a person that walked over there, that climbed the tree, who put it right there. So like I said, I will keep y'all up to date with everything that's going on. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel with your notifications turned on. I don't want y'all to miss out on anything, but we must keep President Trump safe. Not only that, we even got more news to get into. Even Mike Johnson still coming out and going off on these Democrats over this government shutdown, because of course that dollar store Barack Obama is still trying to blame President Trump for this shutdown. And not only that, we just found out that a teacher, I think in Chicago, was pretty much reenacting Charlie Kirk getting killed and stuff like that. It's like these people is out of hand. And we got even more news to get to, so make sure y'all stay to the end. So please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support. And shout out to the one that always watches the entire video, like the video we did yesterday. A lot of y'all said, hey, Adogg, I stayed to the end. I watched the entire video, and I appreciate all of you that do that, because it helps me get the message out there. It helps me get President Trump's message out there. So I appreciate everybody who lets me know in the comment section that you did stay to the end and hit that like button, all right? So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and dive straight into this. And like we got a little bit more news on this sniper nest that Dan Bongino came out and started talking about it. And let's go ahead and dive straight into it, y'all. So you can see right here by Eric Dawson breaking, the FBI dismantled the hunting stand that had a direct line of sight to President Trump's Air Force One in Palm Beach, and it's being taken to an FBI lab so they can hunt down whoever set it up. So let's check out what Dan Bongino had to say about this.
But here's what happens with this. Let me walk the American public through how this works. The FBI is not responsible, obviously, for the security plan of the president. That's the purview of the Secret Service. However, if the Secret Service finds something that they believe could be criminal, I want to emphasize it could be, we take over. We have what's called an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding with the Secret Service, where we will investigate after that. I was on the phone yesterday back and forth with the D2, the Deputy Director over at the Secret Service, Matt Quinn, great guy. They were very concerned. Their security sweep discovered this hunting stand. The director was, Kash Patel, was directly involved right away. I'm on the email chain with him. He ordered an immediate response. I believe we had our plane flown down there. This hunting stand was appropriately dismantled, being flown to our lab. I believe it's there right now. And all of the forensic tools we have, from digital tools to biometric tools, they are all going to be applied to try to find out who put this up there and why.
Mr. Deputy Director, big picture here, the snipers have become a problem. The first assassination attempt against the president, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the attempted assassination of our ICE officers, that's the new tool now. They're attacking from the top.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a new tool. It's an old tool that may be used more often by folks who realize that there's some tactical advantage to distance and cover. The Secret Service has had to make a lot of modifications, Lawrence, given that this tool was obviously used or attempted to be used multiple times. They've expanded their security perimeter, how they do. I'm very close friends with the director over there and the deputy director, and some of those modifications have been made. And I think you saw the modifications with the discovery of this hunting stand set up in the tree outside of West Palm Beach. But yeah, there's no room. This is a zero-fail mission, Lawrence. No time for a BS here. It's zero fail. You can't have a mistake here. It's just not. I haven't been a Secret Service agent and now an FBI agent and with the NYPD. I can tell you, this is one of those missions where there's no do-overs. But
wow. So, and you can see right here, they were still talking about this. A sniper nest at airport found pointing at Trump as flies from their right now. Suspicious hunting stand less than a mile from where Ryan Ruth tried to take out President Trump in a separate incident last year. We remember what Ryan Roof did. And it seemed like it was like less than a mile from where Ryan Roof tried to take out President Trump.
Hunting stand perched in a tree near the Air Force One zone while agents were doing advanced security preparations before the president's arrival. FBI Director Kash Patel said Sunday no individuals were located, and the FBI is flying in resources to collect evidence from the scene and deploy cell phone analytics capabilities. The hunting stand is under a mile from the Trump golf course, where Ryan Ruth was convicted of pointing a rifle from the tree line at the president last year. Before that, Mr. Trump was grazed in the ear during a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Southern Boulevard, the route leading to Mar-a-Lago and running by the airport, was closed Saturday and part of Sunday, reopened after the president boarded Air Force One and headed back to Washington.
Wow. And then you see right here say breaking sniper nest found near Trump's landing zone, hidden high in a tree with a 300-yard view of Air Force One stairway. The platform was discovered just before Trump's arrival at Mar-a-Lago. FBI airlifted forensics crew in and is scanning phone data now. So obviously it's at the point where you can see the sniper stand right here. So somebody climbed that tree and set it right there. And what they did was, if you can tell, they tried to blend it in with the tree. So if somebody ain't really looking at it, you would think it's just part of the tree, like it's a tree stump or whatever the case may be. So they made sure they camouflaged it in to try to throw somebody off. And you said possible sniper nest aimed at Air Force One uncovered just days before Trump's arrival in Palm Beach. What really happened? So, you know, everybody is talking about that. You see here's a shock report. Secret Service discovers potential sniper nest with direct line of sight to Air Force One, suspiciously heavily camouflaged. And that's what I was just saying. They made sure whoever did this, they camouflaged it in to try to throw Secret Service off or anybody who was looking that way. Because if you just kind of just glance that way and turn your head, you're like, they're just the tree, or they're just part of the tree. So kudos to, Secret Service for really, walking up and saying, hold on now, something ain't right here. And then find out it's a sniper's nest. So somebody definitely put it there. Suspiciously heavily camouflaged hunter's perch in a tree near Florida airport used by Trump is being investigated. And so you can tell too. And you can see it say alert, President Trump made it safely onto Air Force One after the Secret Service discovered a sniper nest with a clear line of sight to the presidential aircraft. Another assassination plot has been foiled. Oh, man. It's like, man, this stuff is just scary, man. It is just scary. So we must keep President Trump, in our prayers. Keep this man safe at all times. So let's turn the tables here a little bit, but y'all can't let me know what y'all think about that. And like I said before, I will keep y'all up to date as more information comes out. So let's turn it over because Dan Bongino didn't only say that. Dan Bongino absolutely went off on Gavin Newsom as well. So FBI Dan Bongino drops the mic on Gavin Newsom after the derelict California governor claimed nobody wants federal police to save San Francisco. Gavin Newsom is just a clown, man. But check out what Dan Bongino said.
Well, we don't answer to the governor of California. We answer to the president, the American people, the attorney general, and the deputy attorney general. That's the chain of command. Listen, I'm not going to get into a match. I was going to say something different, but got to control my queen's mouth on the air with Gavin Newsom. But when he says this comment, what is that? Nobody wants you here. Yeah. Really? Ask the 67-year-old woman living in a drug-ridden area of L.A. or San Francisco or what else, who's had some guy slinging crack on the corner for 10 years now, harassing her grandkids. Go ask her if she wants us and the FBI, the U.S. Marshals and the DEA and all the operations of the federal government in there to clean up the city. Go ask her. Go find her. I promise. There's not a limited sample size of people. That's kind of a BS remark.
Yeah, it is.
People do want us there. I can tell you, I live in D.C. now. Obviously, the headquarters is right down the block from your D.C. studio here. I'm going there afterwards. I was out this weekend on the Washington Mall. Got to touch some grass, get some sun once in a while. It was Sunday. and I saw about 10 or 15 National Guard folks, I'm telling you, all right, granted, it's just my single subject designed for that day. I saw at least in that half hour I was there, 10, 15 people thank them for being there. So don't believe the hype. DC, you know, this is one of those cities where people are looking for safety too.
Exactly. Salute to Dan Bongino. We already know that Gavin Newsom, just like Brandon Johnson, JB, Peanut Butter Pritzker, they all the same. It's just their ego. They hate Trump so much that they don't even want his help when they know that they say they need help. And so not only that, it's a Dan Bongino reveals President Trump brought in himself and Kash Patel in for a meeting and gave them one command for America crime-ridden cities.
With regards to this crush and violent crime, whether it's in San Francisco, Chicago, any other major city. Early on, this is kind of the untold story of this op. I get appointed, announced in February, come in March. Kash is there a little bit earlier. President brings us in early, and in essence, this is kind of the behind the scenes, guys. He says to us, you know, listen, I'm a builder. I'm in a lot of these big cities. He has just zero tolerance for violent crime. He just does. He drives around Washington, D.C. on these OTRs, off-the-record movements. He sees homelessness, crime. He can't stand it. He says, what do we got to do to fix this? And we basically lay out a bunch of things. And his answer is very simple. President's like, go get them, boys. Go get them. That was it. Like, you do what you have to do. So we got in there, Kash and I, and we brought in the best SACs, special agents in charge across the country, guys who had forgotten more about crime and enforcing it than most people ever know. They've done this their whole lives. One of them we pulled in from Phoenix. He did an amazing job out there. We said, hey, his name's Joe. I said, Joe, you tell me what we need to do to go get these demon savages off the street. Tell me what we need to do. We brought in a violent crime roundtable of the best crim agents in the country. We figured out a battle plan, how to kind of water balloon. You know, when you squeeze a water balloon, you get a bulge. How do we bulge agents here and then bulge agents there? And we cleaned up at the president's direction, the director and I, with the SACs and the agents in the field, we water ballooned around the country and made, get a load of this, guys. This is going to trip you out. 28,000 violent crime arrests in 2025, and the year's not even over. You say, oh, well, what does that mean? Put it in comparison. Prior 3-4 years, the FBI under prior leadership had averaged about 15,000, 16,000. We're at 28,000. 28,000. We're not even done with the year. We haven't even hit Thanksgiving or Christmas yet.
Yep.
It shows you when you get a president, an attorney general, a deputy attorney general, and an FBI leadership team that lets the FBI do FBI work instead of getting into other nonsense in the past. Look what happens. Your cities get cleaner.
Exactly. So salute to Dan Bongino, man, because, of course, we seen what President Trump did, you know, with Washington, D.C., Chicago. Of course, it's kind of hard with Chicago, especially when you got, you know, this dumb governor and a mayor trying to stop President Trump's agenda. So let's go ahead and turn the table to this right here. Now, this woman right here is just ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, just absolutely ridiculous when you got people like this that saying that they happy about what happened to Charlie Kirk. So if you look right here, it say new liberal No Kings protester celebrates the assassination of Charlie Kirk, says Democrats need to get meaner. Charlie Kirk, this woman said that Charlie Kirk is a piece of you know what. Then she even called him what they pretty much be calling President Trump, calling him Hitler and all type of stuff, talking about she's glad about what happened to Charlie Kirk and that he's no longer here, and say that evil people have no place in her world. Talking about he was a hateful human being. I mean, man, this right here is just insane. I'm not even going to play this. I'm just pretty much already telling you what this woman is saying. This is this woman right here that's holding up this sign. Just despicable woman. Talking about she's happy about what happened to Charlie Kirk. And it get worse than that when you got a school teacher. I think they teach what, kindergarten to 8th grade, pretty much trying to reenact what happened to Charlie Kirk. Look at this woman. Look at this. Just absolutely insane. Now, they was holding up this Charlie Kirk sign right here. And look at this. Look at these people. Just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Look at her. This is the woman. This woman is mocking Charlie Kirk's death. The lady from the video is Lucy Martinez. She is a teacher in a Chicago school. Look at this.
You ever heard of Ozempic, you fat ass?
Look at this. I mean, these right here are just sick people, man. Sick people. And there's the thing about this woman is a school teacher in Chicago that's doing this. This is like the woman that's teaching our children. I mean, then you see right here, it's like the woman in the viral video marking Charlie Kirk's assassination is a Chicago public school teacher, according to the individual who posted the original video. The lady from the video is Lucy Martinez. She is a teacher in a Chicago school, he claimed. Disturbing if true. Then you find out right here, that's her name right here, Lucy Martinez, kindergarten through 8th grade, STM teacher, room number 323. All of a sudden, you know, this is what they showed before. Then all of a sudden, when everybody started hitting up the school that she worked for, now say under construction. Absolutely insane, man. Absolutely insane. So, of course, this is the woman right here. Just absolutely crazy, man. These people are freaking lunatics. So let's get to this right here where Scott Jennings just nuked the so-called No King protest. Check out what Scott Jennings said.
While most of America spent time with family or watched college football this weekend, the No Kings rallies took place in several places in the United States. Liberals gathered to protest a non-existent monarchy in a country that, well, if it did have a king, certainly would not permit massive protest rallies. A lot of unhinged folks who harbor hate and dark thoughts in their hearts were on hand. Listen to this crazy lady in Maine. She had a specific birthday present in mind for herself.
So this is your birthday, so you came out on your birthday, you thought it was important. Tell me why.
Absolutely, because I have 2 little boys who deserve a bright future of freedom and democracy. And this is a nightmare that I'm living in. And I'm here to make a difference and to be loud and proud. And there's no other way I'd want to celebrate my birthday than with my parents and my best friend fighting for our country.
So for a birthday present, what do you hope happens? You know, you wake up tomorrow morning.
I hope that I see the obituary that we're all waiting for tomorrow. That's what I hope for.
Oh my God.
You wishing that President Trump is...
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. This woman said that's what she wants for her child is an obituary of President. Boy, I tell you the truth, man. These are just absolutely sick people. This woman said she hopes she wake up tomorrow and none.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, these sorts of people popped up at these No Kings rallies all over the country, issuing thinly veiled desires for violence against Republicans, against the president. Here's another one, even worse.
Who are you going to...
Nazis.
Who do you define as a Nazi?
What do you mean? It's pretty...
In this context, who's a Nazi?
Stephen Miller's a Nazi.
So you're going to kill Miller?
If I had a chance, yeah, I would.
I don't know if that's something I'd
Somebody said if I had the chance to take out Stephen Miller, I would.
say on camera, bro.
Right below the surface, folks. Right below the surface. The desire to commit violence against political enemies, to wish for their deaths. It is infecting the liberal grassroots at far higher rates than the media wants you to believe. And as we have seen in Virginia, it has infected their candidates for high office. As you know, their attorney general candidate, the Democrats, has expressed a desire for his Republican political opponents to be shot in the head and to see their children die in the arms of their mother. You ought to remember that when you hear someone tell you that both sides needs to turn down the temperature.
No, it's on one side. Oh, boy. So even after all of this, and then, you know, you got Chuck Schumer them shutting the government down. They really thought that it was going to hurt President Trump, but really it didn't. Because even by CNN, it said, holy crap, CNN reveals the devastating news that the Schumer federal shutdown not only hasn't harmed President Trump's public support, his approval rating has increased.
About Donald Trump shutdowns, net approval rating, we're talking 20 days into it. In 2018/2019, Donald Trump's net approval rating was already falling. The shutdown was eating into his popular support. It was down 3 points already at this particular point and would fall considerably more. It was very much on the decline. You come over to this side of the screen, this shutdown hasn't eaten into Donald Trump's support at all. His net approval rating is actually up a point in terms of his popular support. So the bottom line is this. The first shutdown during Trump's first term, 2018-2019, was hurting Donald Trump. This one is not hurting him at all. There's no real reason Donald Trump might say, at least when it comes to popular support, I want to get out of this shutdown.
What about the question of blame?
Yeah, okay, what about the question of blame? Okay, you see here, you see Donald Trump's net approval rating was down 2018 to 2019. You talk about 2025 as net approval rating is up. It comes down to the blame game, a game I loved to play when I was younger. Blame Trump for the shutdown a great deal. In 2018/2019, 61%, more than 3 in 5 Americans blame Trump a great deal for that particular shutdown. You come over to this side of the screen, look at this. It's a different world. It's a different world.
48%, because you know that 48% is Democrats, because for a fact, people know, the American people know that this shutdown has nothing to do with President Trump. It's Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer wanted $1.5 trillion to fund, get free healthcare for illegal aliens. And they shut the government down because President Trump wouldn't give them the money. And they shut it down and they blame President Trump for it. And the American people know exactly whose fault it is.
8% of Americans blame Trump a great deal for this particular shutdown. So it's more than 3 in 5 back in 2018/2019. It's less than half, a drop of 13 points. Again, it's no real wonder that Donald Trump at this point, looking at the shutdown, says, you know what, it's not actually harming me politically, in large part because he's getting less of the blame.
And he's doing things differently during this shutdown.
Yes, exactly right. We talk about Donald Trump and you say, okay, he wants to be a consequential, influential president. Well, if the legislative process is basically freezed up, on Capitol Hill, you may say, well, then he can't actually get legislation through. But that's not how Trump is governing in this term. We've spoken about this over and over and over again.
Wow. So, hey, how do Democrats feel about that? How do they feel about that? And not only that, Mike Johnson did come back out. Of course, he always goes off on Chuck Schumer. We all know it's Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries' fault. It's the Democrats' fault. But he did speak on the No King protester because, of course, they still mad over that AI video of President Trump dropping mud on the No King protesters and Harry Sisson. But check out what Mike Johnson had to say about it.
That the President of the United States over the weekend released a video of him pooping on the American people.
The president uses social media to make the point. You can argue he's probably the most effective person who's ever used social media for that. He is using satire to make a point. He is not calling for the murder of his political opponents, and that's what these people are doing. I mean, they're in one of these photos. I think there's a picture of the president hanging in effigy by a noose on one of these, one on the far end. I mean, it's unconscionable. Look, America is built on the idea of free speech. You have the right to protest. Of course, we jealously guard that. I mean, Chip and I are attorneys. We've defended that right in the courts. But what they're doing right now is different. They are trying to incite violence. It's not funny. You don't mock a president who has already had 2 failed assassination attempts on his life. This is not a game. And the idea that communists would be supporting this.
And that's the thing right there. President Trump can be funny with AI video, but these people are actually trying to take him out and take out people around him. And they crying over an AI video. Just truly insane. Not only that, Speaker Johnson said the Democrats are in utter shambles with zero leadership.
On the other side, Democrats can't even agree amongst themselves. You got different subgroups among them. You've got a few reasonable Democrats who know shutdowns hurt the people, and they've already voted for our bill. They want to keep the government open. Then you've got others desperate to prop up the failures of Obamacare with no reforms whatsoever to make the program more affordable. That's what we're fighting for. And you've got AOC calling for her own negotiations on live TV, and you've got Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries still unable to articulate what it is they need to reopen the government. It illustrates the point once again. This was never about a solution. It was about creating an issue. Now that Democrats have had their protest and publicity stunts, I just pray that they come to their senses and end this shutdown and reopen the government this week. Republicans are waiting. The American people are waiting.
Yep.
And we are ready to act. As evidence of just how united Republicans are in this fight, I've asked two of our prominent leaders in the House Republican Conference. I've got House Freedom Caucus front.
So salute to Mike Johnson. Not only that, he also spoke truth nukes. No King say that Chuck Schumer and Democrats stood aside the Communist Party and leftist groups this weekend.
Those categories and paychecks to those folks are being stalled because Democrats are playing games. Today, Leader Thune in the Senate will once again bring the clean, nonpartisan CR to the floor for a vote. They will have another chance. Democrats will have their 12th opportunity to pass the bill. It is the same bill that they themselves supported just 7 months ago, and Chuck Schumer gave impassioned speeches on the floor about how it was the only option. And don't forget, they did it 13 times under the Biden administration. Very similar measures, but not now. Something's changed. Over the weekend, we saw what it was all about. The Democrats made crystal clear that this is about politics. The politics were on full display. The politics, the spectacle, is what the mobs, the crowds, the rallies this week were all about. It was quite ironic, though. The irony was very glaring. They called it the No Kings Rally. But the great irony, of course, that we pointed out over and over was if President Trump was a king, the government would be open. If President Trump was a king, he would have closed the national parks and the national mall, so they couldn't have had the rally out here. By the way, that's what President Obama did during the shutdown in 2013, closed all the parks and the national mall.
He sure did.
Here in Washington, you had Senators Bernie Sanders and Chris Murphy and Cory Booker and others marching in the streets. Now, these are the same senators who voted over and over to shut down the legislative branch and hand the reins to President Trump. They're decrying the situation that they themselves created. This has always been about the spectacle. Chuck Schumer himself joined the spectacle in New York City. And it's interesting to note his activities there. He was standing side by side some of the most radical groups that maybe ever assembled on U.S. soil. They openly advertised as co-sponsors of the event in New York City the Communist Party USA, the Democrat Socialist of America, the Freedom Socialist Party, the Young Communist League of New York, many others. Do we need any further evidence? They're not hiding this. They're out in the open. They're not shy about it.
Yep.
Because this is the core constituency of the modern Democratic Party. These are objective facts. Look at what's happening. Open your eyes. It is exactly why Chuck Schumer is pandering in this whole charade. We've explained from the very beginning, this shutdown is about one thing and one thing alone: Chuck Schumer's political survival.
Yep. That's what it's all about, man. It was just all about them shutting it down so they can try to see if they can get money out of President Trump. That's what it was all about the whole time, to try to get money out of President Trump. Then we showed a clip the other day of Chuck Schumer pretty much, making threats to the Supreme Court. And I showed that clip the other day. So it's just like it's getting worse and worse for Chuck Schumer and the Democrats. So they keep trying to keep the government shut down. And you can keep on trying to blame President Trump, but it's not going to get you anywhere. So right here, breaking in a major turn of events, the White House is suspecting that the Democrats may cave on the shutdown and end it now that No Kings weekend is over.
Well, first of all, the president has been very active throughout this process, but it's also his position that this is a thing that the Senate needs to work out. A lot of our friends in the Senate have said that it was just bad optics for Democrats to open the government before the No Kings rally, and that now there's a shot that this week things will come together and very quickly the moderate Democrats will move forward and get us an open government, at which point we could negotiate whatever policies they want to negotiate with regular order. Now, I was very pleased to see that my friend Senator Shaheen from New Hampshire, a very sound-minded Democrat, came out and supported opening the government on Friday. So it means that there's sort of cracks in the Schumer armor. I think the Schumer shutdown is likely to end sometime this week. But I can tell you that if the story that we've been basically hearing from moderates that, look, we just can't do it in front of the No Kings rally, if that ends up not being true, then I think that the White House is going to have to look very closely, along with Russ Vought, at stronger measures that we could take to bring him to the table.
So pretty much, they already have been exposed. But last thing I do want to show y'all right here, President Trump pretty much speaking on Hamas again.
Yeah, just following up up on that question, when you say we are going to eradicate Hamas, who is we? Does that include American boots on the ground?
No, it won't be on the ground at all. We don't need to because we have many countries, as you know, signed on to this deal. The way I view it, 59 countries and unanimous. There's never been, nobody ever believed us. Countries that 4 months ago didn't like each other and now they're all aligned together. I mean, we've had countries calling me when they saw some of the killing with Hamas, saying we'd love to go in and take care of the situation ourselves. In addition, you have Israel would go in 2 minutes if I asked them to go in. I could tell them, go in and take care of it. But right now, we haven't said that. We're going to give it a little chance, and hopefully there will be a little less violence. But right now, you know, they're violent people. Hamas has been very violent. But they don't have the backing of Iran anymore. They don't have the backing of really anybody anymore. They have to be good. And if they're not good, they'll be eradicated.
Wow. So they will be eradicated. So like I said, y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think about all of this. Like I said before, please put prayers for President Trump down below in the comments section. Like I said, we get any more update on the sniper nest, if they find out who did it, who set it up, is there any camera footage of a person climbing that tree setting it up. I will keep y'all updated, so make sure you are subscribed to the channel with your notifications turned to all right? And don't forget to let me know that you did stay to the end of this video. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.